Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Thursday night matchday preview. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov. So pleased to be with you on a Thursday night. So pleased to be talking football with our Talking Town community. It's been a long week. The last time you saw me was Tuesday night. The wife isn't much better. No, even the baby had cowpole this evening. So only me and the dog left standing. Isn't that right, to Toby? There's a song about that. I'm still standing, but we are still standing. And I'm looking forward to discussing the game, which, quite frankly, going on previous opinions of myself on a manager, I'm really looking forward to discussing with you, because anytime Paul Cook and co can make me sort of retreat a little bit and say, oh, okay, yeah, fair play, it's good, because that means Ipswich Town are winning football games. First of all, thankful Thursday while the dog destroys the sofa. So if you can, please do dig deep on our Ko-Fi. We may need a new sofa in the next 30 seconds, unless I can push how big do you think you are now? 6 stone? 6 stone Labrador off the sofa while he has half of it in his mouth. But a huge thank you to our Toby, our Ko-Fi members. They are on the screen right now. Huge thank you. Your support is invaluable to us. You can support us through Ko-Fi. Link is in the chat. And you can support us through YouTube Super Stickers. I will interrupt anyone and everyone if they come in. We have got loads of people in the live chat while I send one of our contributors the live link. I know he wants to pop on and discuss Tuesday night. I think Toto and Ciala particularly. Got Mark Rattle, good evening. EJ Norris, good evening, guys. Colin, how was Portsmouth? I think he really enjoyed Portsmouth. If you haven't seen his match day ratings, go and check it out. Him and Cruncher certainly bouncing off the walls on that drive home. In fact, here's a story for you. I got into bed, must have been, I don't know, 11:30, it was 10 to 12. And I got a message from Colin saying, ring Cruncher. I was like, what? You don't mean me. So I said, what? Literally, as you do, go, And he goes, yeah, ring Cruncher. And I'm like, it's midnight, Colin. Unless you're either broken down or dying, I'll phone you tomorrow. But I think the party was in full swing in that one. Right. But I made it home perfectly sound because Cruncher's in the chat. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend. He is our resident Bricktop. It's Peter. Peter Cox, there he is, looking wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. How you doing, Coxie?
Fine, thanks, mate. How's yourself?
I'm very well, my friend. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. I'm surviving. I'm still standing. Looking forward to the game
After
this
all
weekend.
This time, yeah.
Absolutely. Who sings that song?
I think it's Elton John, isn't that one?
Is it? That's it. Yeah, right. It is. Yeah, absolutely right. I do like his little new one with I've forgotten her name, but Cold Heart. Peaky will know. Peaky knows everything. But looking forward, yeah, he knows. He'll bring it in a minute after his Emmy, Grammy, BAFTA award-winning introduction. But Coxie, looking forward to getting tonight's show. We've got some sacking news. Oh, Mr. Ipswich Town with €5. Cheers for having me on the show on Tuesday. It is our pleasure, and I mean that. It is our pleasure to have the fans on the show to discuss their football team. Fingers crossed for another professional performance come Saturday. Absolutely. Crunch says, Elton John, get in the bin. No, Crunchy, you get in the bin. How dare he? Elton John is a legend. But Coxie, yeah, we've got sacking news. We've got prediction league news. We've got obviously the little matter of town thrashing Portsmouth news. Lots to discuss. Yeah. We've got Fleetwood as well. Before I bring Peaky in, just tell me very quickly when you saw the game, when you saw the result, when post game, how did you feel on Tuesday night? What sort of feelings were you left with?
Well, after because what we witnessed at as you said, Colchester. Then they had Martin Lambert at Cambridge on Saturday. Yeah, it was the perfect tonic. I mean, obviously watched the shows, and at half time, even then that's just us one. Poor Matt Phillips. I don't know.
Poor Matt. He's not even here to defend himself. Stephen Parry said that's my vaccination with Watford. Apparently, the Elton John thing, Coxie.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. Okay.
You're the Paul Cook double act, says Graham Tate. Oh, I see it now. Oh, I see it. Oh, I tell you what. While we reflect on that one. In the maroon top, from parts unknown, Mark Peaky, Tuxford.
Good evening. How are we? We all right?
Very well. I swear to God, when I'm back in my normal room, I'm going to get a smoke machine. I'm going to get a disco ball. I'm going to properly set you up. So when you come in, this room's going to be going ting, 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 because that's just ideal music for you to suddenly appear with nothing behind but smoke in front of your face. When we do a live show, like back in the wild, we're going to do that to you, Mark. Yeah. I mean that.
Yeah, I think Touch is going to have to come out like Goldberg used to with the fireworks coming down the side.
Absolutely, we got to knock on the door. Really
oh yeah. But Matt Phillips knocking on the door and security around him.
Yes, Cruncher and Matt can escort him out. Peaky, obviously, you are next to Kate Riley, the only credible journalist we've got on the network. So I'm going to grab your thoughts on the sacking race. Nigel Adkins has gone first. He has fallen. The count has been reached. He's run his race with Charlton. What are your thoughts on that one then?
A surprise of the way that Charlton has started, to be honest. I think they've only got 2 wins in 13 games or whatever it was, and it's not good enough, obviously, for a club like Charlton. If that was Ipswich, obviously we'd be wanting Adkins out by now as well. So it's not too much of a surprise that he's gone. I'm just more surprised at the way Charlton have started because they've got a lot of investment. They're a decent football team on paper. They got good players, really, to be honest. So yeah, a bit of a surprise, but I do like Adkins as a manager. Yeah. It might just be that it's the wrong club for him. And whatever else. I think you also said that you've seen him on Twitter and the positivity that comes out of him. So surprised at the way they started, but not surprised he's gone.
Right, D, David Brent wasn't working at Charlton. Yeah, you are right though. 2 wins inside the first 13. Didn't end the season all that well either back in of last year. Not surprising, but surprising because as yourself, I felt Adkins was a decent manager at this level. JT, I like Adkins as a manager. What went wrong? Sometimes it's the wrong fit, the wrong time for the wrong person at the wrong club, isn't it, Coxie?
Certainly is, yeah. He's done well. I mean, what sticks out in your mind is how he got Southampton after their administration and now losing points in League One, and then he got them up and You know, they then went straight through the Championship, didn't they, into the Premier League, and
they did,
and the club is still there now. So now he set the ball rolling there. So
I still remember that being one of the first sort of social media outrages, Tux, when he was replaced with Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah, I remember that. That was it was quite a shocking sort of sacking, to be honest. But obviously Pochettino came in and did fairly well himself. So yeah, I mean, it was obviously in hindsight a good appointment and good to get rid of him. But I think actually since that sort of time that Adkins was manager of Southampton, he's gone on to manage Hull, Charlton. I think there was another one he's managed as well. But you know, these are sort of sides that are big clubs. You know, so
absolutely.
You know, you'd think that he could do something with them, but for whatever reason, it hasn't really worked out for him.
Absolutely, that's your League One roundup.
A bit like Paul Lambert, really. You know,
like Paul Lambert.
Done his one thing at Norwich, and then done bugger all anybody else.
Well, Ben Moore does say Adkins, good manager 10 years ago. Since then, been hanging around like Lambert on old jobs. So that's your League One roundup done. The latest sort of big news out of League One. The other latest news is Town thrashed somebody, and this is a bit of the year I'm looking forward to discussing, because obviously, you know, Town win, tick. Paul Cook and Ramsden words I've said down my throat, tick. Love it anytime I'll do that. In fact, I want to be wrong. That's the whole point of the exercise. But very first, Tux, more than 4,000 Blues watch Portsmouth on iFollow. I watched Town thrash Portsmouth on iFollow. So over 4,000 people. That's an incredible number on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, we're one of the biggest clubs in the EFL in terms of, you know, from League One, League Two sort of standards. So, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise. I mean, we get a decent number of attendances now at home, and obviously a very good following away. So it doesn't surprise me that, you know, there's even more Town fans sat at home for whatever reason can't go to the game, and, you know, want to support their team. And I think it's great to see that level of support happening.
Can you give me the full number, Cox? Yeah, can you take a stab at the full? Oh, you've got it in front of you, haven't you?
No,
you cheating little. Go on, then. What is it?
I'll take a wild stab at 4,313.
Oh, yeah. Are you sure about the 13 now? You're not going to say 16 or 12 or 6? Are you sure of the 13?
Yeah, 13.
Well, I mean, wow, Coxie. But yeah, 4,313. And apparently, you know, that's incredible. 18,000 at the last home game, over 4,000 midweek for a team that's been, you know, on a bit of a roller coaster. Not a great result on Saturday, obviously, with great capitulation. So, you know, good support all round, Cox.
Yeah. Well, like Tuck said, we are one of the biggest boys in League One. Now 4,000 odd watching on iBuffer, so that's all right. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, they did do well. They won 4-0. I mean, you can't do too much better than that. I'm going to bring in the King. In fact, the King needs his introduction, because you never introduce a king just by saying, I'm going to bring in the King. Here he is.
Man, I'm gully and techie. You want me, then check me. Just butt me, I'm ready. I need that money in heavy. I'm banging these raps like Pompey with Shelly.
But not the full intro, because he's not on the full show. So this is. I want to hear the first bit, you know. How did you, boy?
What, am I just a Louis Barry 88 minutes up?
You are, mate. Yes. Yes. The ball has gone up. King Caddy is in court. King, you wanted to come in, because I know you're close to a couple of the players.
Well, I was saying I was buzzing after Tuesday, and then like coming back to Cov on Tuesday night, I didn't really get a chance to jump on the show, apart from jumping in Crunchy's stream for a split sec.
We love
just to let you know whose Barmy Army it was, of course.
Absolutely.
But now, man, like we were saying it again, that's the most complete Paul Cook performance I've seen. I know Doncaster, we won 6-0, but that was a better performance than Doncaster. I'll even go as far as saying that was one of Lee Evans, if not his best game. And I know he scored the hat-trick at Doncaster. He was fucking phenomenal. He was absolutely, and this is from me, who was giving him stick all season.
You were. You wanted him dropped for Harper, but we're all say things we sometimes don't mean. Cookout, but perhaps I do mean it. I don't know. We'll wait to be seen. But Coxie, he says Lee Evans. We'll touch on Lee Evans first. Then, how good was Evans in midweek? Callie says his best performance yet in a blue shirt. Do you agree with that, or do you think Doncaster still shades it?
No, I think that was fair. Fair comment, really. Not mine, the man of the match. He was Callie's man of the match. Also, the Goat's man of the match. Edmondson was my man of the match. I thought he was quite immense at the back. But that you could have picked. I mean, Danassian was another who had an absolutely brilliant game there. They were absolutely storming down the road. You know, most of them had a fair shout as man of the match. You know,
assist machine, Janoy Danassian. I'll tell you somebody else who could have had a shout for man of the match is your close friend, the man mounting at the back on Tuesday night, Callie, Toto and Ciala came out of the cold, replaced Burgess, who we spoke about early part of the week. Could he be replaced? You know, there was a bit of hesitation by people in the chat. He came in. Not only did he come in, he played bloody well. How did you see Toto's performance?
Well, bias aside, if I'm watching it just as a pure Ipswich fan,
Part
so let me part the bias for a sec. Yeah, let's be fair. There was a few nervy moments in the first opening stages, right? But let's also understand why what's happening. That is the first time they've actually played together. Never mind, they haven't done a training session or anything together with them to have been the centre back pairing. So the first time they've done it is at kickoff at Fratton Park, in a quite a big game. That's their first pairing together. Don't forget, I don't know if it's public news, but like last week, Toto had a virus. So Thursday or Friday he wasn't training. He was away from the squad. Went up to Cambridge on Friday or whatever, Friday evening or whatever it was from there. So he hasn't been fully fit and all the rest of it. And there is that nervy moment. You know, he didn't have his career at Ipswich wasn't a great start. And then we, as you know, some of our fans, we always seem to associate, he's got a mistake in him, this, that, and the other. And I know, like I said, he took his eye off the ball once or twice, and that and the other. But that was, like I said, you're getting back into your first game since. I know he had the cameo against Shrewsbury for 10 minutes, but the first game since his injury at Morecambe on the opening game, he's coming in now. In terms of mistakes and stuff, he actually didn't make a single foul that game or whatever, and you can check your stats on that or whatever. And then I know we talk about he's got a penalty in him and all that, this, that, and the other. Last penalty he gave away was November last year against Peterborough in the COVID season, which Clark Harris blazed over anyway. Yep. So, like I said, he had a nervy start, but he's getting there. He's building it. He's like KVY, like a few others. It's confidence-based games, and you saw that he grew into the game. So whilst he was a bit nervous at the beginning, he grew into it, and that's why by the end of the game, I think a lot of people were, he's great, and that's why Sam, because I was speaking to Sam after the game as well, and I was like, you pointed to Toto's jersey, and he was saying, it was a big game for him, and people have to realise, he's our senior leader, senior guy, and he's a solid player. And that's what he does. I saw Stephen Parry's comment in there about it. Saying,
Sam now. I was speaking to Sam, and it was ever so.
Sam's from Wolverhampton, isn't he? So he's from Wolvo, and this is why we may have known some stuff before. But he's a good lad.
Cruncher. Friends.
Well, he's all right.
Friends.
Tux, I'll bring you in here because obviously we had Ash Simmons on the show Monday, and he is not a huge fan of Toto. I think it's fair to say. He came in Tuesday, first game, him and Edmondson, not even a training session, Callie said, that they've had together. What do you make of that then? What are you hearing all that?
I'm not Toto's biggest fan either, if I'm honest. I do get what Callie's saying. I do agree to a certain extent that obviously, this is, he's playing with a partner that he's not played before.
Yep.
And things like that. And obviously he did play well the other night, but I think Toto is not a fixture in our side. I think he is a centre-back that can come in and do a job, but he's not. I wouldn't trust him to be my number one centre-back for the season going ahead. Every defender has got a mistake in them, but I just feel like every time I've watched Toto, there is a bit of a nervous moment in there. And I don't know whether that's based on past experience, but it's happened. So, and it does sometimes happen again. And it's like the sort of nervy moments and stuff like that. And, I want him to do well here. I want every player to do well for our club. But at the same time, the jury's still out for me with him.
So you said the jury's still out, but is it now Toto's shirt to lose? And in that case,
without a doubt, it's without a doubt. If you're in my head, I've always said that don't change a winning team unless you really have to for a tactical reason or an injury or something like that. But yes, it is his shirt to lose, and if he goes on to play for the rest of the season, and we're keeping clean sheets and winning games, then great, that's fine. But for me, I just feel like as games come thick and fast, I feel like he is gonna you know, give away a penalty or a silly foul or something like that, because sometimes I think he does lose that kind of concentration a little bit. But yeah, I think that's, you know, maybe I've just got that opinion of Toto anyway.
So he's going to repair the trust the same way Donatian has, because Donatian, to his credit, would have had the exact same sentence.
Because I said when Donatian started the season, when he came back from loan last year, and when he went out on loan, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, why is he going out on loan?" Because he wasn't good enough for us. Well, whatever you say now, like, you know, he wasn't good enough for us. But he's come back, he's put his shirt on, and he wants to play, and he's keeping KVY out of the team, and no one would have said that, you know, 6 months ago. So, you know, fair play to him, and he is playing well. Like, he's even getting forward now. And the thing with with Donatian that sort of, you know, didn't have in favour of him was that he couldn't go past the halfway line without a nosebleed, because it was that kind of thing. Whereas KVY was always going forward, but he was also a very good defender. But Donatian has worked on his attacking presence, and I think just deserves that he's in the team. He shouldn't be out of it. So yeah,
absolutely. Callie, you mentioned Sam there. How did Sam benefit, do you feel, from Toto and Edmondson?
I think the whole team. Well, I think the whole team benefits from Sam being there as well. And I know there's been a few games he's getting to know it, but we've seen, for instance, we've seen Evans who benefits massively when he's in the team. Right? He's allowed to move around. First couple of games, I didn't think I didn't think Evans knew how to move more than 10 yards from his position, like it was chess or something, right? So now all of a sudden, I mean, we were at Portsmouth and we were attacking in the second half right in front of us, and he's had the ball edge of the area, it's broke down, they've got down towards the area. Who's the one tackling in our box now? It's Lee Evans. So he's doing that box to box. That's like, okay, this is what we thought we were buying. We're finally seeing that as well.
So Sammy Morsey, by the way, Sammy Morsey is our best player. He's our most key player that we have in this current Ipswich side, because if he's if he gets a red card, if he's injured, we could go back to the kind of form where he was playing at the start of the season, because we don't have that kind of player to come in and replace him. Like, you've got Harper, yes, so you've got Evans, but they're not a Morsey type of player where they just sit in front of the back four, dictate play. You watch that game against Doncaster, he just dictated absolutely everything that went through that midfield. And we don't have another player that can come in and do that job. So for me, the first thing that Cook needs to do in January is get another player like him. Well, type of player.
The Sam thing, but that's exactly it, because it's the same formation we were playing last year. Compare the personnel there. Now, I know we talked about Toto, this, that, and the other before, but last year, him and Wilson were a solid partnership. We had one of the best defences in the league.
Yeah.
But the problem we had as well is, if you look at our goals last year, and some of the goals we conceded, well, most of the goals we conceded this year, it's from individual mistakes or little issues and little errors, which then puts our defence under pressure, under unnecessary pressure. You don't get that now when you've got Sam Morsey in your team, who's just screening across the front. And even when, I know Tux, you're probably right about getting someone in to kind of step up, but then you've got El Miz as well, who could potentially do something. But
it's not
again,
player, though, is he?
You don't want to get too carried away just yet.
He's not a defensive player. He's a little bit like Dazelle in that sense, where Dazelle was trying to play a CDM role. He's not. It's like Dazelle was never good enough to play that role.
Well,
like he just wasn't.
Dazelle was at 8 and he was never going to slide tackle someone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, apart from Sunderland away, right.
Yeah.
But then with El Miz, he does get himself about a bit more. But whether or not that'll be when his chance comes in, because there will be, it's Ipswich, so there will be injuries, there will be those kind of things or whatever. Yeah. Whether El Miz can step up and continue to, because I think the games El Miz has played, he hasn't been bad. Particularly the one against Sheffield, I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah, I
think the squad's there, and you're talking about like the beginning of the season, those mistakes. Remember, the team are getting to know each other.
Yeah.
If you remember when I come on the pod at the beginning of the season, we said watch out for a Luco, right? And I think this was directly after the Newport game, and we said there is a player there. He's rusty. He'll be there. Same with your JDs that are coming on as well. We've got an actual squad there, and everyone's happy to be playing. And there's none of this ego stuff. Whereas in other clubs and maybe previous regimes in Ipswich, it would be like, well, I should be starting because I'm the most senior person, or I should be here. It doesn't matter, and then unsettles other players. Yeah. You don't get that here. If Cook says this is my 11, the rest of them are like, yeah, cool, we're back here, we're on that, and that's what we want to do.
I do think there is still some egos here. I just think they're not in the squad at the moment. I still think like Jackson's got a bit of an ego. I think Norwood's got a bit of an ego to a certain extent. I think John Nolan's got a bit of an ego as well. So they're all players that don't find themselves currently in the team. And you're right, Callie. It's one of those sort of things where Cook does not allow that kind of thing to happen. If you have an ego, you deserve it because you're playing well on the pitch. Like Bond's got an ego now. Of course he has, because he's scoring goals left, right, and centre. And you'd only be human to do that. But he's in the team. He's doing well for the team. So rightly so. But if your Norwood has still got an ego, then
I think an ego is not the worst thing in the world. It gives you an edge.
No, it's not.
In combative sports. But Coxie, there's a lot of discussion here now about best player, particularly in the chat. Who's the best player for yourself? You've got Josh Russell saying Bond. Obviously, you've got Sammy being mentioned down below.
Bailey Clements.
Bailey Clements from Matt Stannard somewhere in the world. I can hear him saying it now. Yeah. Who's our best player for you right now, then, Coxie?
Our best player in the team, not best player from the other night.
Give me both if they're different. Give me both.
No. Well, without shadow of a doubt, it's Bond at the minute. He's our best player. Okay. Or should I say Macaulay? Yeah.
Macaulay. Bod the Nod. Decent, solid backbone of a team starting to form. Walton, Edmondson, JD, Evans, Morsey, Chaplin, Aluko, and Bond all starters for me at the moment. Rotate the rest until someone stamps on a position. Callie, you were there Tuesday. That 11, obviously Bod the Nod says rotation, etc. Cook himself said there'd be squad rotation going on. Would you rotate this team now, or would you say that's a fairly convincing win against a team and a place we don't often get convincing, if any, wins? This is now the team for at least Fleetwood and Plymouth, and then possibly further afield, or are you still, as Bod suggests, looking to rotate a couple of players outside the names he's mentioned? Where do you see it, Cal?
I think you'll probably see some rotation on the wing, if anywhere. I'm a big fan of Edwards, but he is tiring. He's finding his feet. He's a young player, right? Yeah. So he's finding his feet a bit, and he's come back from injury. I think once he finds his feet, he'll be good. Once he gets that first assist or a first goal or something, that will help him anyway. I know Fraser's not a left wing, but he's done well out on the left wing as well. You got Selena back now as well. He didn't look too happy at the end of the game. Coming on late. He had the Louis Barry substitution time. And he's a big player, so you've got to kind of look for him. But when Selena signed, I always thought he'd be the 10. But for me now, he has to be, if he's going to start Selena, you start him on the left wing. Yeah. Because Chaplin, I think Chaplin's nailed down that number 10 role. The only other option is to play to have Aluko on the left and Burns on the right. Those are options as well. But I think Sonny Aluko's in a bit, either it's a purple patch or he's found some form or whatever. Kind of be dumb to break that up when people are doing that as well. I would stick much of a muchness, just maybe one of the left or right wingers would be rotated and maybe make a substitution before 70 minutes.
Yeah, I've got a comment from Leighton Durrant, Coxie. Selena hasn't done much since his return. Glad we haven't bought him. He would have torn teams apart with his previous form. What's your view on him? What's your view on Selena? Because obviously, as Callie says, Chaplin has now done the 10. I don't disagree with that. I think he's spot on. But what's your view on Selena since he's making the move back to Suffolk?
Well, he's not reached what we know he can do before. If he's sat with them. Last time he was here, he was a game winner, and we haven't seen that yet. I agree with the lads there. That's I think his best position is out, not in the 10. It's out on the left there. I thought him and Fraser. I thought Fraser would have been better in the middle, but Chatlin's come in. Chaplin you can't drop Chaplin. He's got that number 10 at the minute. He's definitely as with the others, as with with Toto. He's nailed on to start. Surely they can't rotate them out.
Do you think Tux would be a little bit, maybe a bit harsh on Bursant here? He had COVID, he had some health issues. He's just arrived back to England, League One. It's certainly a million miles away from the Championship. So many different things. Are we perhaps being a little bit too impatient with Bursant and unfair? And he needs to be treated. And maybe Chaplin coming into the side is a great thing for him because it gives him that little bit of a chip on the shoulder and a kick up the backside.
Yes, I mean, at the end of the day, if there's players ahead of you that are playing well and you know, you keep them in the team, and you know, you have to wait your turn, don't you? And you know, it'd be the same if Selena was playing well, whatever position he was playing. So really, it's about biding his time and waiting for his chance to obviously come on. And you know, when he does come on, he needs to make a difference at the end of the day. So you know, it is what it is, unfortunately. But you know, as long as the player playing in that first 11 or coming on and making the difference, then it doesn't really matter who's playing, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, Carl Brooks. Selena has bundles of ability. I just don't think he suits the number 10. I think he would have made an impact out wide. Ryan says Selena has a tough few months with his personal life and injury. He's class and will find his form again. Callie, the good doctor, says he tore Donny apart. I know the team as a whole did, but seriously, they couldn't leave him on the left. So again, you're agreeing with him on the wide positions from an earlier comment. Would you now maybe look to as Selena as a left winger with Chaplin central? And if that's the case, is it really Scott Fraser that's sort of the odd man out? Where do you see Selena?
That's exactly it. I would have my left wingers are going to be Selena and Edwards, and my tens are now Chaplin and Fraser comes in. And if I'm Cookie and I'm thinking about Fleetwood, a team that are leaking goals, I'm thinking, right, I might start Selena and I might bring on Edwards as the team tire, swapping for Selena around the 70th minute or something. 87th minute. 87th minute will make us sub.
Yeah, but the sentence you've just said for a team in England's third tier is fucking nuts.
And then, you know, if Chaplin tires, you can bring on, you know, the #1 assist player last year in League One in Scott Fraser. But we didn't see it last season. We ain't seen it for a while, where off the bench now we've actually got game changers. We've got someone before, when people used to make subs, whether it was Cook at the end of the last season or Lambert before that or Hurst or McCarthy or whoever. When players were coming off the bench, it was like, well, you know, it just feels like a substitution for the sake of it. Like the players fatigue. It's a fatigue thing. It's not a tactical thing. We're not there to manage it. We just want to keep the result as it is. Now these players are coming in, and it's like, well, you got Wes Burns that comes off the bench on Friday, gets a goal. You know, these are players that run at players that they're going to tear people apart. We're clicking, and this is what like Sam and Toto and a few of the others were saying, is that like they're slowly building, and it takes a while for it to come to fruition and everything. And we're not going to roll over every team. There are going to be physical battles where we'll lose, like the Cambridge one. We got bullied out of that game, the Cambridge game or whatever. That's what Cook has to figure out, is how we come up against those teams. But otherwise, if we're playing football, there's not a team that will play better football than us in this league. And there'll be very few teams, probably 10 or so in the league above, that will play better football than us when we play football. Absolutely.
Before I let you go, Callie, because you are the king and you've got a court to run, I want to ask you a question here. Only one side that's finished inside the top 2 at this point of the season has had the same number or a few less or a few more points than we have right now. I think that was Luton. We are currently sitting in 13th on 17 points. Sunderland are in 2nd on 28. Is the top 2 gone? Have fans now got to remove that thought from their mind, and it's just the playoffs, or are a top 2, 1 or 2 position? Is that still at play? What do you think?
If you're saying that it's just playoffs, then what are you playing for a draw each game? Because that's not how football's about, right? We want to every Saturday, every Tuesday we watch Ipswich. It's what we expect to win. When we went up to United all them years ago, we wanted to win or whatever. You know, just Josh Oworth couldn't do it, right? But that's what we kind of wanted, and that's what I want. So I don't think top 2's out of sight, not at all, right? I think it's a long season. I think we're fortunate in that we've played the kind of lower teams and drop points against people that are not going to be title contenders or not rivals. As we're hitting form now, we go into that busy Christmas period and stuff like that, and you would play your Sunderland, your Wickhams, your Plymouths, and all those kind of things. We're going to be taking points off of them, and that's all. These games are now becoming 6-pointers that we can win, and that's where I feel we're clicking at the right time. Now, if you look back on seasons and all the rest of it, top 2, I think they lose about 6 or 7 games a season, right? How many games have we lost? 2? Right? Was it 2? No, Burton as well, wasn't it? Charlton and Burton, and
we've lost 4.
Bolton
and Stanley.
Oh shit! I forgot about that. I was there.
It's a game we all want to fucking erase. Believe me.
Suppressed memory there, Callie.
You've lost 4 games. I don't see us losing many more. I'm not saying we'll go out and win every game, right? But I don't see us winning many, losing many more. I think, and then we're going to be taking points off the people above us. We're going to go up the table. We'll all be singing E-I-E-I-E-I-O, right? We'll go up the table. We'll be saying Paul Cook's our king because we've won promotion and that's it. And we'll get ready to play Norwich next year.
Love it. Callie, thank you. Thank you very much for popping by. I appreciate you as always, my brother. Stay well. He says we're not going to lose many more Tux. Is he being smoking? Is he not going to lose many more?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we've got a very tough period coming up. We're playing some very good teams.
November
in this
is
league,
a tough month.
Yeah, it's a very tough
season-defining month, really.
I'm quite looking forward to Sunderland. I'm quite looking forward to Plymouth. Obviously, Plymouth's in a couple of weeks, but yeah, it's going to be good. But we just need to remain consistent. I go back to the point of like just having a consistent team that we need to field quite a lot. There'll be changes here and there. Like someone like Aluko's not. Can he play 3 games in a week? Probably not. So, you know, Burns is going to be able to come in and, you know, I mean, it goes back to the point of like, this is a great squad we've got and we just need to fulfill it now and just get that consistency going. Absolutely. We're not going to lose many more games, Colin. What do you think about Callie there? Not going to lose many more games.
Well, got to agree with him, really. I mean, you know, with the squad that we've got, you know, and the confidence will grow. You know, we've got to build on this now. Like everybody's been saying, I totally agree. Starting on Saturday.
Absolutely. How you were there Tuesday, like Callie was, like Cruncher was. From your perspective, what made the team click? Because we've all been, people have been saying it. When it clicks, it'll be great, but it's not clicked for whatever reason. What made Tuesday just click, just fall effortlessly into a 4-0 victory from your perspective in the stands? What did you see?
I think it was just poorly down to, obviously, you know, we've got to give Paul a little bit of credit here. You know,
absolutely.
Like I heard today, I can't remember. It said one of the players said, I think it was Walton. I think said about how much work Paul had been doing on the training ground and stuff. And he was really, really pleased for him, and so are we, obviously. We're not privy to what goes on up there, and that's just as well, really, because it's not our business. And he is a grafter, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. He comes across as that kind of person, a fans manager, a person who wants to win for the fans. I know that. I spoke to him 2 or 3 times. He's a lovely, lovely man, and I really, really want him to succeed. I really want that man to succeed. You know, because like we keep harping over it, but he's had a hard time, like poor old Joe Pigott is going through at the moment. And that win the other night, and I'm sure the boys would have said it, and I'm sure they'd have been straight on their phones to him. That win would have been for Joe the other night.
Yep.
I didn't say that to Rich actually coming home. I didn't really think about it, but yeah, I hope they all got together and said, "That's for you, Joe." You know. But going back to what I was originally saying, I think they've obviously been working hard on the training ground. Excuse me, and it started, like I say, like we all said, it started to click. You know, sometimes like people in work, you can know what you're doing, but it's not really going like you really want it to, and and things grow, don't they, Govers? As you go on, which is obviously happening with us. And you can see the confidence, Obviously, there was 1 or 2 little slips, if that's what you call it, by Tote on Tuesday night. But, you forgive him for that. Generally, 85-90% of the time, he was okay. He was more than okay.
Were
the rest of them...
Or were they just well thought out touches, like when he sort of stood on the ball and sent the Portsmouth striker for a burger? You know what I mean? Like that was just
I think it was a little bit. I think it was a little bit of nerves, really, Gov. Because let's face it, he hasn't played hardly at all this season apart from when he came on. Bless his heart, and generally an 8 out of 10, which is fantastic when he just come back to the side,
Absolutely, yeah.
That's how I feel anyway.
lots of love in the chat for Lee Evans. Go. Talk to me about how good he was before we move on to the prediction league very quickly. How good was Lee Evans?
Fantastic. I mean, everything he did with a swagger. He got in for that tackle like Morse did. He got on the tackle when he had to. He passed it when he had to. Didn't lose the ball hardly all night. I mean, I liked it the other night when you asked me who won the midfield battle between Morsey and whoever the other lad is. I don't know. I'm not really even bothered, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, we bossed that game, Gov. Absolutely bossed. I'll tell you what I will say, without going too much over the top. If we play 85 to 90% as good as we did the other night, Fleetwood might as well save a bit of diesel. and stay up in the northwest, because I'll tell you what, they're going to get a Doncaster if we play like we did the other night, because that was top rate. This is the man that set up the Doncaster, Coxie and Tux. That's a statement to the rest of the league. And then we went and laid a right big cow's pat the following Saturday. So You're absolutely right. Gov, hands up. You're absolutely right. But I have always said that since day one, I've always said we've got the best squad in this league. Well, we certainly have that, haven't we, Coxie? We've got a fantastic squad at our disposal.
We certainly have, yeah. Yeah, we've got the best squad in the league, but it's just getting them to play consistently. As simple as that.
It really is.
And we're getting there.
Before I let you go, I asked Callie about top two. Jason Clayton has said Hull and Peterborough both lost 11 games. They obviously finished inside the top two. Do you think the top two has gone, or do you think a team led by Sammy, Toto, Denoy, and Co can finish inside the top two and make a charge up the table?
With the squad that we got, Gov, I'm not, like I said the other night, I'm not giving top two up. I think if you give anything up in life, you're weak. Weak, obviously, in here. No, you mustn't give up, for goodness sake. No way. I think I'll be laughed at. I don't really care. This squad is good enough to win between five. You've got to remember, our great side in the top league went. You asked me today about a certain fixture. I looked up today. They lost. Well, I knew it was a 1 or 2, but they lost. If you go back to like over a 12-month period, they lost 3 games in 39 in the league, in League Division 1.
Wow.
That's a top side in the top flight, right? This is a top side for me in the 3rd flight. And this squad, in my opinion, 2 players for every position, and God knows what you want to say about it. This squad is good enough to go 10, 15 games without defeat easily, say on a 10-game period. I think this squad is good enough to win 7, draw 3 in a 10-game period. That would put you very, very near the top 2. Anybody who doesn't think that this squad is good enough to go on a 10, 12, 15-game undefeated run, I think really and truly, I think they're crackers, because this squad is good enough to do that. Like I say, it's in a different league, at a different level. I appreciate that. But, I watched teams lose and won 2 games in nearly a whole Premier League season, which is obviously 38 games now. It used to be 42. Mm-hmm. Town lost 3 games in 39 league fixtures. If you go from October 79 to October 80, when that game that you mentioned was in. So it can be done, and Town were doing that against the likes of Dalglish and the likes, So, Colin, it can be done. It can be done. We've just got to, like Rich always says, and he's absolutely right, you've got to take every game as it comes. The focus now is on Fleetwood. All right, they're no great shakes. They've been on a half decent run before, so we've got to give them a little bit of credit.
He don't like Fleetwood, does he? He don't like Fleetwood. Did you go on holiday once there, Colin, and it rained for the whole 2 weeks? Because you don't like Fleetwood, do you?
No. No, I have never been to Fleetwood. The nearest I went to there is Morecambe, and that's just as dull. But
absolute legend. You really
I've not been to Fleetwood. I hope to get there this year. Yeah, get that one knocked off. I'll be number. Yeah. So, but we it's just like Tux always says, and he's absolutely right. Hashtag positivity all the while.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Get it. Well done, Tux. Well done. Colin, it's a real pleasure as always. Look after yourself. Tux, Colin says, I'm not going to lose that many games, as did Callie. Stephen goes one further and says, folk might laugh, but we could go unbeaten from now until May.
No.
What are you saying, Tux?
No, right. Look, I'm king of this shit, yeah? But listen, we will not go unbeaten, right? We're not the Invincibles. We're not bloody Arsenal, right? So we're not going to go unbeaten throughout the season. We're also not good enough to go 10 or 15 games unbeaten because the consistency isn't there, right? Yes, we've absolutely murdered Doncaster and Portsmouth, but we have still got a long way to go. And there's going to be teams that this is their FA Cup final, like Cambridge, right? So as much as I am that, is also a bit of realism there.
Keep it real, as Ali G would say.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Coxie, are you with Tux there, keeping it real, or are you with Stephen and Colin and the guy and Callie? And are you really, unbeaten to at least 10 or 12, but possibly even May, as Beep says?
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Tux. I'm more of a realist, and I've watched Ipswich Town for years, and there's nothing more than I would love is us to go on that run. And to get to the top, we have got to go on a. If you look every time I personally look for the label, I go on the BBC website to have the little green boxes, green W's. That needs to have at least about 7 of them to be out there. Yeah, can we do it? I can't see us though staying unbeaten to the end of the season. I would love us to be unbeaten to the end of the season, of course, but we are Ipswich Town.
It's not happening.
If we go unbeaten to the end of the season, I'll buy a clown costume and I'll do a few shows in the summer dressed as a clown. Honestly,
somebody's going to clip that though now.
I'll clip it. Clip it. I'll clip it. I would love to be wearing a clown's costume.
I love it if we beat them. I'd love it.
I'd love it. I would love it. I do. But honestly, I can't see it happening, and I'm that confident it wouldn't happen. I'm going to say it. But hey, I'd love to wear a clown's costume. I've got the size 15 feet to go with the costume. I'm already halfway there, as they say. So, but yeah.
What are you going to do when Ipswich get promoted, Gov? Are you going to do a Gary Lineker and come in with your Ipswich pants on?
Well, that's to be determined, isn't it? Really, that's to be determined by the community. But they don't want to see me and my budgie smugglers, believe me. Chris Boyd, a clean sheet versus either Plymouth or Wickham should be the next aim. That would show continuing progress. Callie, so when do you guys think we'll lose? Looking at pictures, I'm struggling to see a loss. Well, November is very tough, incredibly tough. Milk tray. We go season unbeaten. Old Sharps. The last game was just my milk tray chops. There you go. We're all doing it. It's catching. Stephen Parrott, did I say win every game? No, I said we could. I say we could. I'd love to see your crystal ball. Well, if Taz gets his way, you might see my crystal ball. Just wrong slip in a pair of budgies, and it's all gone Pete Tong. Speaking of which, Prediction League this week is in play. Week 11. Link is going to be in the chat and on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram and all the normal places. It's also in the chat right now. These are the games to move away from my crystal balls. We've got Ipswich Town versus Fleetwood, Port Vale versus Colchester, Shrewsbury versus Cambridge, and Chelsea versus Norwich. Tux, I asked Simmons this on Monday. I'm going to ask you again. Chelsea versus Norwich. Is it going to be a rugby score? What are you saying?
I think Norwich are going to get their first win.
Fuck off. Fuck off. I didn't fall for that. I nearly fell for that on Monday with Simmons. I haven't fallen for
I don't know. I think it's always a bit of a tasty affair, Chelsea Norwich in the past. So I actually wouldn't be too surprised if they get a point. But is Lukaku injured?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So
really?
That budgie luck again, eh?
Yep.
Absolutely. So what you can't just put down what you just said there. So what is your prediction for the Prediction League then, Mr. Tuxford?
I've got splinters in my arse because I've been sitting on the fence too long. I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. If people keep sitting on this fence, Coxie, I'm gonna fucking change things to a metal fence. Because people keep sitting on that on the Talking Town fence. I don't like people are sitting on my fence. I don't like people walking outside my house. They don't sit on my fence. Coxie, we've got Port Vale versus Colchester for you. Go for that one. What do you fancy from the B team?
Yeah, the old Ipswich veterans there. I think Port Vale are in a bit of form there, so I think that's going to be 2-0 to the Vale on that one.
2-0 from the
Sorry,
Vale.
Luke Chambers and everybody else now.
Colchester's the motto. If you don't want them, we'll have them. The Ipswich B team. Prediction League is. Oh, you were there actually midweek. Come to think of it, see you holding your head in your hands there. They rescued a point against Bristol Rovers. Brizzle. How did they play?
Cole U were probably the better side in terms of our ex-players. Well, actually, Brett Pittman was playing for Bristol Rovers.
He scored.
He did, yeah. I can't believe he's 33.
No,
he's 33 because I thought he was 38, pushing 39 to be honest with you. But yeah, he played quite well actually.
23, didn't he?
Yeah, but he did play very well. Yeah, so I think it's a very good signing for them, actually, for Bristol Rovers. But in terms of the Cole U players, Dobra came on, again, lots of tricks, but couldn't have an end product. Sums him up perfectly. Chamber had a decent game. Tom Easton actually played quite well. I think, yeah, Sears was very non-existent. Newell up front, non-existent as well. So
I've seen
Chambers was the captain, wasn't he, Tux?
I think he might have been, yeah, because Tommy Smith was on the bench.
Is Tommy Smith injured, or is he just out of form?
No, he was just on the bench. I think he was in. He played for New Zealand.
Oh right, yes,
international.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he just
halfway
got
around
back
the world,
put on the bench. Yeah.
What the Bristol City fans, I do apologise. What the Bristol Rovers fans call Brett Pittman, apparently, from the guys and girls we met on our table this time last week at the FCAs, who are Bristol Rovers fans, is the pork pie Pele.
Really?
Yeah, the pork pie Pele, which, you know, you can see why.
Yeah, it's funny because I think he looks a little bit like Neil Morrissey and behaving badly. It just gives me that vibe.
How about Govsman Scouse? Did he play Scouse?
Sorry, yes, Scouse did play. He was all right, fairly solid. Scouse always has been solid. Championship Steven Gerrard. So you know.
No, poor man's Luke Heim. Mike the Fisherman, blank delete, goes like he's been fishing. FIFA 22, Town win, you win. We've got a new competition, no prize, not competition, a prize. Town won midweek, so I'm giving away a copy of FIFA 22 on Instagram, across Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Head to our social channels to find out the information. All you got to do is subscribe to YouTube, which, let's face it, Marcus Stewart has already said to do that, so you've already done that. Tick. Retweet or like the post, depending on what platform, and follow the account on what platform it is. I mean, it's 3 simple things, and it's 60 seconds. It's free. I can't give FIFA 22 away any better than that, Coxie. I mean, your boy probably plays FIFA 22 from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep, correct?
If he had his way, yes, he would, definitely. Yeah.
There you go.
In fact, he's probably on it now as we speak in the room.
Exactly. Who needs GCSEs? Who needs A-levels? When you've got
who
FIFA
needs a job when you can't? FIFA.
Turn it into a job. I don't care what you do with FIFA 22. Just take it off my hands by doing the 3 things I need you to do to win it. Right, Chris Boyd. Speaking of the old boys, Sunday versus Culture in the FA Cup. BBC Live game choose the fireworks Friday, November the 5th. Yes, looking forward to that one. Fleetwood coming up this weekend. How important is it? We every game's important, but how important is it for Cook, for the club, to build off what has been a good week so far in 4 from 6 and make it 7 from 9 this weekend, Tux?
Sorry, say that again. I couldn't hear.
How important is it this weekend to grab a win and make the week a spectacular week, not just a good week? Because so far you got 4 points from 6. That's good. Make it great by doing 7 from 9, or is it you can afford to lose? Where are you on it?
Well, no, you can't afford to lose. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to keep having these winning performances and games to breed confidence. So yeah, it's important that we keep winning and keep having that momentum going forward. But yeah, if we can get as many points as we can in these, especially over the November period, then it's going to be a good month for us, hopefully, because we have got some really tough games coming up.
We have, yeah. Coxie, Fleetwood not in the greatest shapes. obviously they, or any team in League One, though. The problem in League One is that anyone can beat anyone, and it depends on who turns up. But what are you expecting from us this Saturday at home in front of a bumper crowd? You know, what are you expecting?
Well, going on our recent history, when we played Donny, we won 6-0 and then went up to Adkins Town. We thought, oh, we were going to win that. We didn't. We lost 2-1. The other night, we got a monkey off our back. We hadn't won at Fratton Park for, 10 years plus. So I think on Saturday, it's important for Paul Cook that we get another monkey off our back and he gets 2 wins on the bounce.
Yeah.
And he's got a perfect opportunity to do that against Fleetwood at home.
Yeah.
Got to get them 2 wins.
2 proper wins, because like they're
proper wins. All right, yeah.
They're trying to make the old Gillingham game. I'm not counting that, Tux. Are you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, you know, you do the wins do help. I mean, it just helps breed confidence, like I said. But you know, obviously, the league is our bread and butter, and you know that's where the real true form is, because that's our first team, really. So, yeah, I mean, there's like Pete's saying, you know, it's you do have to keep on going with these sort of things, and you know, I think Fleetwood are there for the taking, really, especially on our performance from the other night. And I'm hoping that Cambridge, that draw has kind of like given us a bit of a kick up the arse, and to say, look, you know, this is not an easy league. You don't walk into a game and expect to win. You know, you've got to earn that right. You've got to earn those points. And hopefully, you know, bad matches or bad results hopefully do give them a bit of a kick up the arse. So hopefully now we can sort of go on a bit of a run, and that's the main thing, really. You know, we've not had a run of consecutive wins for God knows how long, not just under Cook, but under all of our managers in recent times. So it would be nice to just put a decent run together and really get some confidence.
Chris Boyd, Cruncher will say it's lack of respect, but we have to be dispatching the Fleetwoods of the world at home. Stephen Parry, last time we did the easy bit first and won at home, but lost a tough away day this time. We won the tough away day and now have the home game. The last 5 against Fleetwood, just to put a bit more meat on the bones. You know, I mean, it's been topsy-turvy there since 2019. We won 1-0, then we lost back-to-back, 1-0 and 2-0. That was, I think, under Cook. Well, one of them certainly was, and the first one obviously wasn't, and the second one we won 3-1. One of those games, maybe in the last one, Mark McGuinness got absolutely skinned by Wes Ronaldinho, absolutely burned alive, and there's a pun, and he's now playing right wing back, Tux, would you believe, Mark McGuinness, for fucking Cardiff. I mean,
well, look how well that's going.
That's like Cardiff are doing
how well that's going.
Well.
Yeah.
Did no one see the scout report? The Stacks a bit of killer pace. But does the last 5 alter your projections at all on this game, either of you, or does it play into what you felt would be, you know?
Well, I mean, form, you know, like this kind of this screen you've got up at the moment. These are different squads.
Absolutely,
in
they are.
So you know, it's not even just for us; it's for Fleetwood as well. Because you know, a couple of seasons ago under Joey Barton, they were actually storming it. You know, they got into the playoffs and the semi-finals, didn't they? So, you know, they were a decent side back then. But unfortunately, it's just not got going well from this time around. I did think that Joe Garner was a pretty decent signing for them, because they've also got Harry Wright, haven't they, as one of their sub goalkeepers, I think. But you know, it's as the comments are saying, as we've kind of said, really, it's just, you know, we need to really be beating these kind of sides, but also, you know, not just turn up and think we're going to beat them. We just need to go and beat them.
Absolutely. I will just say, for the eagle eyes among us, there is 4 on the screen. We've only played them 4 times, would you believe? That's what my historian tells me. 4 fixtures, so hence 4 games. I could make a game up if you like. I mean, how much would you like it to be? 8? No, don't ask Colin, because it'll be like a rugby. It'll be like NFL score. It'll be, you know, Ipswich Town 23, Fleetwood Town 2. The 2 we've given them, but no. Where is Knappers? Knappers have sadly had to go into work, I'm afraid, my friends, so he can't be joining us. But we come to the point of the show now where it's the prediction point. What is our score going to be for this weekend? Tux, what are you thinking?
I am thinking that it will be 2-0 to Ipswich.
So only 2-0.
Only 2, yeah.
I'm disappointed with that. I want a royally, I want to thrash them. I want to really take some teams to the sword.
I would like that also, but I believe it will be 2-0. Bond will score, and Edmondson to get a goal as well.
Okay. Ooh, Edmondson to get a goal. Yeah, he's already got one, I suppose. Coxie, what do you think? We've got 2-0 from the Cruncher, 2-0 from Josh Russell, who will be doing our match day ratings. Colin Plum, 3-0. Callie says 4-0. I want to take the team to a sword here. Gaza, 3-0. Jason said, if you go by previous form, we would have lost to Pompey. Stats are there to be broken.
Yep.
Stats are there to get beaten. Ipswich Town, Ipswich 3, Fleetwood 1. Mike D, they've lost Callum Connolly, Burns, Coots, Duffy. They're not great this season. No, they're really not. Lots of 3-0. Oh, who's got 5-0? Mike the Fisherman. Oh, I'd like to see his reaction if it was 5-0. He might take another few nails out of the coffin.
I was going to say,
midweek.
He didn't say who 5-0 to, though, does he?
Well, that's true. But it's in the format of a home win. Emerson says, must not let Garner bully us like Ironside did Saturday. Coxie, score prediction, please.
Yeah, I guess I can't see Garner bullying it, but, he does like to throw himself on the floor, so it might be a few free kicks around the edge of the box. I, too, would love to see a massacre, but unfortunately, we are Ipswich, so I think I'm going to go for my usual 2-1 to Town.
2-1 to Town. All right. Hey, 3 points is the most important thing at the end of the day.
That's the thing,
we're all playing
get that monkey off her back.
1-0 or 10-0. We're all playing for those 3 points. And yes, a win certainly could see us, inside the top 10, which would be a huge step forward.
Another step, yeah.
And it's that snowball effect. And, I would love to be eating words come November, December, and certainly into the new year. Andrew, Mike Fishman, 5-0 Ipswich, obviously. Josh Russell, I have to send you them to you, Gov, as I'm watching from home, as I can't be there, unfortunately. Josh, unlucky. All right. Well, maybe wait till a game you are there. Lots of 3-1s. But yes, we are back tomorrow night, 8:30 for the Paul Cook press conference reaction show. Don't forget FIFA 22 given away. You can enter on each platform, so if you are on Facebook, Insta and Twitter, you can enter 3 times if you truly want to. Don't forget Prediction League, links all over social media and in this chat. But we are done for the Thursday preview show. We've looked at Pompey, we've looked ahead to Fleetwood. Last question, I guess, would either of you make a change for the weekend, or would you both go into the weekend unchanged? Peaky, what do you think?
I think the only sort of change I would probably consider maybe is Burns coming in for Aluko. Not that Aluko's been poor, because he has been good, obviously, but I just think it might be a case of whether he can actually play 3 games. The old cliche, can he play 3 games in a week type thing. So I'd expect Burns to come back in against his former club as well. So, yeah, I'd probably just make one change for me.
Okay, Coxie, I know you sent me your team earlier, but I've not downloaded it and uploaded it. So, would you make any changes? Sorry,
no, I would keep it unchanged. But with Paul Cook, he doesn't seem to keep a. No, I'm not criticising Paul Cook. He doesn't seem to keep it. So yeah, I mean, can Aluko play 3 games in the week? He's done well in the last 2. And would he, if Collison's back, would he drop Penny? Would the penny drop?
Would the penny drop? Absolutely. So it's interesting that but at least we're now getting down to the 1s or the 2s changes. It's not, we've got to change the 4, 5, 6 as we were at one point. So it's all trending in the right direction, which, everyone, even the most negative fans, without saying names, to the most positive fans without saying any names, there he is, King Positivity, would certainly think on that. I would go unchanged. I know Burns against his old side, and that Mick McCarthy adage of they always play well against their old teams, but you can't really say to any of them unless they're injured. You just beaten the team 4-0. Aluko, you've just scored 2 goals the Saturday before, sorry, but you're on the bench. I'd go unchanged, and you've got to give them some leeway and some confidence. But hey, we remain to be seen. Only change was Twitch manager with Reed, says Felixstowe Blues. Parry says it's Reed, you see. He was there on Tuesday, and let's see if he can pull that magic on Saturday from the director's box. But we're back tomorrow, 8:30. That is the Brick Top. That is Peaky. I am the Gov. This is an FCA finalist presentation of Talking Town. Join us tomorrow, 8:30. Media Mogul and the Cruncher.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.